Welcome to the deep dive. We've gone through quite a bit of material, really trying to distill the key insights on something we all struggle with: email.
Yeah, it's a constant, isn't it?
It really is. And today, we're zoning in on executive level communication, specifically the power of being brief and how that actually makes an impact.
Definitely. Our sources, they really hammer this home conciseness, especially at those higher levels. Isn't just nice to have. It's often the key difference between getting read or just getting deleted.
Right. It's about cutting through that noise.
Yeah,
Because executives, they're just bombarded. Cognitive load is, a real thing.
absolutely. Short, sharp emails, they work. So our mission today really is to give you some actionable techniques, ways to write emails that are so concise they almost demand a reply.
Exactly. We're going to talk about mastering what some people call the three-line email. Sounds simple, but it can seriously boost your reply rates.
And we found this great example, didn't we? A client landing what was it, a $500,000 deal.
Yeah, $500,000 with an email that was only 57 words long. 57.
Incredible. So yeah, we want to unpack how that actually works. What makes that brevity so powerful?
So over this deep dive, we'll break down the essentials. We'll kick things off with subject lines, how to write ones that grab attention right away.
And avoid that dreaded delete button. Then we'll get into the email body itself, how to be brutally brief, but still sound, human.
Yeah, that's key. And finally, we'll navigate the tricky world of CC chains. Bit of a minefield sometimes.
Tell me about it. The goal here is that by the end, you'll have solid ways to turn those emails that just sit there into tools that actually get things done.
Okay, let's dive in. Segment one, the subject line. It's like the front door to your message.
It really is, and often it's the only chance you get. If that subject line doesn't work, nothing else matters. Our sources are pretty clear. A weak subject is just a wasted chance.
So true. And it's amazing how often we just default to things like follow up.
Oh, yeah. Or checking in. How many of those do you just scroll past? They give you zero reason to click. Why do you think we do that? Just default to the vague stuff.
Hmm. Maybe it feels less demanding, safer somehow. But the research suggests going bolder, like the urgency hack.
Ah, yes. Using deadlines, even if they're a little bit flexible.
Right. So instead of just project update, maybe decision needed by 5 p.m. What's the psychology there? Why does that work?
Well, it taps into our natural tendency to prioritize things with clear deadlines, right? It creates a sense of necessary action. It feels concrete.
Makes sense. Then there's ego bait, which sounds a bit cynical, but it's about genuinely asking for input.
Yeah, making the recipient feel valued, like their opinion actually matters. Something like your take on industry trend. Why does that land so well?
I think it shifts the whole dynamic. It's not you telling them something, it's an invitation. Makes them feel like an expert.
Exactly. And then there's the mystery hook. Just enough intrigue to make them click.
Like one idea to cut meeting hours. Who wouldn't want to know that?
Right. It promises a clear benefit, solves a common pain point. Very enticing for busy people.
Okay, let's try a quick test. Take a really standard, kind of boring subject line, project update. How can we jazz that up using these ideas?
Okay, well, using urgency, maybe Project X update need your input by EOD Wednesday adds a specific deadline.
Good one. Or with mystery. Maybe 3 risks blocking Project X. That sounds important.
Ooh, I like that one. It signals potential problems, right? Which taps into loss aversion. People hate the idea of losing something or something going wrong.
So it makes them want to open it to see what those risks are.
Yeah.
Powerful stuff.
Definitely. Okay, so that's the gatekeeper handle. Let's move inside to the email body itself, this idea of an executive format.
Right. Ruthlessly concise, but still human. And this often comes down to the 3-sentence rule.
3 key parts designed for super quick understanding. First up, the hook.
Get straight to it, no hope you're well, just bang the core issue or opportunity.
Exactly. So instead of rambling, maybe start with, we're losing about $12 pay a month from this specific problem. Direct.
Yeah, immediately tells them why this email matters, respects their time. Okay, second sentence.
The action.
Okay.
Crystal clear, what do you need them to do? So following that hook, it might be, approve the X budget by Friday to fix this.
No ambiguity. They know the ask. Why is that clarity so vital?
Because fuzziness just leads to back and forth, right? Delays, questions. Clear action prevents that.
And the third sentence.
The proof. Just a little bit of backup or what happens next.
So for our example, it could be, see the 3 success cases in slides 4-6. Points them where to go if they need more, but doesn't clutter the main message.
Right. Keeps it clean. Our sources also highlight those really weak openings people use.
Oh, yeah, like per our discussion, or attached, please find. Why are those so bad?
They're just passive, aren't they? They delay the important stuff. No urgency, no hook. Exactly. They make the reader do the work. Okay, so we've got the structure. But what about the tone? How do you stay brief but not sound like a robot? Or worse, rude.
Yeah, that's the balancing act. Professional, but warm. Warm, but crisp, as some sources put it. Even a simple, thanks for the chat, in a follow-up. Why does that little thing matter?
It just acknowledges the human connection, builds a bit of rapport, makes the interaction feel less transactional.
Okay. And for concise follow-ups, there's that X then Y format.
Right. It implies sequence without needing a long explanation. Can you give an example?
Sure. Instead of, once the budget is approved by you, our team will then be able to proceed with the vendor selection process. Just say, approve budget Friday, then we'll start vendor selection Monday.
Much sharper,
Right.
more direct, action-oriented. Okay, what if you hit pushback? How do you handle that briefly?
You got to acknowledge their concern quickly, but then state the path forward. Something like, I see the risks you mentioned, here's why the potential upside still makes sense, and, have the details ready if they ask.
Right. Show you've heard them, but keep momentum. And what about apologies if you mess up?
Keep it super brief and focused on the fix. My oversight fixing this now, updated version coming by EOD. Acknowledge, promise action. Done.
Okay, quick exercise. That phrase, as previously mentioned, can sound a bit passive-aggressive, right? How do we rephrase that? More direct, but still professional.
Yeah, ditch that one. Maybe try just circling back to our discussion on X, or even just to reiterate the point about why gets the job done without the implied sigh.
Good alternatives. Okay, now let's wade into CC warfare, or, CC strategy.
Ah, yes. Who gets copied, when, BCC or not BCC. It's definitely an art form.
One key idea is CCing strategically and often early. Why is that helpful?
Well, it stops that why wasn't I looped in problem later, right? Keeps relevant people informed from the start. Avoid surprises or feeling left out.
Makes sense. Prevents some political headaches down the line. What about BCC? When's the right time for the blind copy?
That's more for keeping someone informed without making them part of the main conversation, like looping in your boss for awareness maybe, or sending to a big list where you want to protect emails.
Yeah, avoids the dreaded reply all storm, too. Okay, what if an email chain isn't resolving something? How do you escalate cleanly?
Suggest taking it offline. Gently. Like, seems like we have a few angles here. Maybe a quick 10-minute call would help us align. How about Tuesday at 3 p.m.?
Right, moves it to a potentially faster, more direct channel. And there was that cool tip about following up without just resending.
Oh, yeah, the forward your own email trick.
Yeah.
Instead of a new just checking in email, you forward your original sent message to yourself and add a quick note at the top, like gentle bump on this, before sending that forward to them.
Why is that better?
It keeps the original message in context right there for them. Super easy to see, but feels less like you're just nagging with a new email. It's all in one thread.
Clever. Okay, so we're talking speed, brevity.
Yeah.
Which brings us to the 10-second skim test.
This is so important. Assume people are glancing, not reading deeply. Your email has to work even then.
So simple things like using bold text. Why is that so effective?
It just acts like a visual signpost, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Draws the eye straight to the key ask or the critical number. Makes it instantly scannable.
Like highlighting the main action item or a deadline. And bullet points too, right?
Oh, definitely. Great for breaking down, say, criteria or risks. Like key risks, budget 5% variance, key risks, timeline delay 1 week, key risks, needs legal review.
Yeah, super clear. Much easier to digest than a dense paragraph. What about the PS, the postscript?
Don't underestimate it. Our sources say it's great for important, but maybe secondary info. Something you want to make sure they see.
Like what? Give me an example.
Maybe PS, quick reminder. Team survey closes this Friday. It stands out at the end.
Gotcha. It's visible. And the contrast between a rambling email and a ruthlessly edited one?
Yeah.
It's huge, isn't it?
Night and day. One feels like homework. The other feels like actionable information. One gets read and acted on. The other maybe gets flagged for later, which means never.
So fundamentally, why does all this stuff work? These techniques seem simple, but they're effective.
I think it's because they target universal pain points, right?
Yeah.
Everyone hates getting ignored emails. Everyone hates confusing CC chains.
Yeah, you're respecting their time, cutting through the clutter, you're making it easy for them to engage. It's about reducing friction.
And it connects to other skills too, doesn't it? Like
Yeah.
being good at this makes you better at presentations, maybe, that concise communication muscle.
Absolutely. It's all part of the same package. Clear thinking, clear communication, respecting your audience, and it definitely lays groundwork for persuasion, too.
How so?
Well, influencing people often starts with just being clear and direct about what you need or propose. This builds that foundation. If they can't understand you quickly, you've already lost them.
Makes total sense. Okay, so for everyone listening, what's the mission? What should they do now?
All right, your mission if you choose to accept it. Two things. First, go look at your sent emails, your actual sent folder.
Be honest with yourself.
Yeah. Would a super busy CEO get the point of that email in, like 10 seconds? Would they know exactly what you need?
Ouch. That's a tough standard. Okay, and part two?
Pick one of those emails, maybe one that didn't get a great response, and rewrite it. Use that 3-sentence rule. Hook, action, proof. Just try it.
Practice makes perfect, or at least better.
Exactly. And looking ahead, our next deep dive gets into something really interesting. C2 persuasion. How to influence without authority.
Ooh, that sounds good. And related, right?
Yes.
Because concise writing is a kind of influence.
Totally linked. So until then, the mantra is write like you're charging by the word, be concise.
Love it. And hey, if you want some templates to get started, we put together 5 email templates for tricky situations.
Oh yeah, those are handy.
Just DM us at @EnglishUnlocked. That's @EnglishUnlocked with the hashtag #InboxHack. One word, InboxHack, and we'll send them over.
Free templates, can't beat that. So, final thought to leave folks with.
Yeah, just think about how much collective time and energy gets absolutely wasted on bad emails. Writing them, reading them, trying to figure them out.
It's huge when you stop and consider it. So reclaiming that time through clearer, more focused communication, that's powerful. What's one small change you can make to your emails starting today? That might give you back some of that time and maybe boost your impact.
Something to definitely think about.